Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about a brand new product from Surratt. These are the Torche Lumie highlighting sticks, and I have 2 out of the 3 colors. I have Diamante and Rose Diamante. So I will be doing a full face of Surratt today, and we'll be featuring these highlighting sticks. And I'm really excited to show you guys these highlighting sticks. I've been playing around with them the past couple of days, and they're really, really lovely. So I thought I would do a full face of Surratt. I thought I would take the opportunity because I just haven't used a lot of the products on camera in a while. So I thought I would do that today. So let's go ahead and start with foundation. I already have my skincare down and I don't feel like I need any primer, and I don't really generally feel like I need primer when I use the Surratt foundation. So this is the Surratt Surreal Skin Foundation Wand. I have it in shades 3 and 4. 4 is a little bit deeper, and 4 is the color that I purchased first, and it worked when I lived in New York. Funny enough, I was actually a little bit deeper in New York, probably because I spent a lot more time outside walking around. But 3 is a color that works a little bit better for me now that I live in Vegas. But I like to kind of mix them up. I'll use 4 on my forehead and 3 on the rest of my face. But I have had these for a long time, but because they're in this packaging, I do feel like, you know, air doesn't get to it as often. You know, they're like in this cartridge in here. And so I feel like they may still be good, but we're going to find out together. I do have some backups in my drawer. These were the foundations that I traveled with exclusively because of this packaging. And, you know, just because I've been testing out other foundations or whatever, I've been traveling with other ones. But this was like the OG. This was the foundation that I always traveled with. So this is shade number 4. There's no scent or anything, so I think it's still okay. The texture still seems really fine. It comes right out of this brush. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this Surreal Skin Foundation. Not new at all, but I actually don't mind applying it straight from the brush. This brush is actually fairly decent, and it does a pretty good job kind of blending everything out. I do need to go in with a bigger brush. I don't think this brush does it all for me, but I do think it's a nice applicator. It definitely gets it on evenly. So that's number 4. I'm gonna go ahead and move over to number 3. Number 3 is lighter and also kind of cooler in tone, and that just works a lot better for the bottom half of my face. And if I wanna highlight a little bit, I'm gonna use this Rephr 04 brush, which I've been using for foundation lately, and it's great. Really just blends it in very seamlessly. This foundation is so beautiful. It has like a medium coverage. It feels like skincare because it's so creamy. It has a slight bit of radiance. Before we move on to concealer, I just want to mention, whenever I do use these foundation wands, the most popular question I get is, how do I clean the brush at the end? And I will just take a spot cleaner, something like this Sephora Daily Brush Cleaner. It's those kind of like no rinse kind of cleaners. I'll spray it on like so, and I'll just take a paper towel, something that will soak up the cleaner, and then I'll just kind of run it across. You can see all the foundation that comes off, and depending on how dirty it is, I'll do that once or twice. But that is pretty much how I clean these brushes. You can see how much cleaner it is already. And that's it. And then when I put the brush back into the cap, to kind of avoid these bristles that I've caught, you know, when you just put the brush in, I'll put the brush against the cap ledge like this. I'll angle it in, and you'll see that I caught some bristles in there, but then if you start to twist your brush, you'll get all of the hairs in there, and then I close it up, and that way you'll avoid kind of catching the edge of those bristles in the cap. So that's how I close it up, and that's how I clean it. So let's go ahead and move on to concealer. I have the Perfectionist concealer palettes here. I love this concealer, and this is a concealer that I do like to travel with because they are in a pan, so you don't have like this kind of packaging where sometimes, I don't know, when I travel, maybe it's the air pressure, maybe it's because I packed it upside down or something. Sometimes I'll just have all of this product like run out when I open it up, and I never have that issue with pan products. So anyway, these are great concealers. I absolutely love them, and they come with this awesome like setting powder. It's just great. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Surratt brush that came out with this concealer palette. I can't remember the name of this. It's like the Perfectionist complexion brush maybe? Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and use concealer palette number 2, and I'm going to mix the 2 shades. One is just slightly lighter than the other, and just apply that right underneath my eyes. You don't need a lot of this concealer. It's like you just kind of pat it in, pick up a little bit, and it's so pigmented. And for such a pigmented concealer, it's not drying at all. It really is a fantastic, fantastic formula. It's very, very magical. Then I'm going to go into the number 3 palette. I'm going to use the large smoky eye brush from Surratt, and I'm going to go into the setting powder. I like this yellow tone more than the like lilac tone in the number 2. And I'm just going to lightly dust this over the concealer. And then I like to take the number 3 palette, the concealers in here, and use those to conceal up my face because it is closer to my actual like face shade. And I'm going to use that around my nose and anywhere else I feel like I need a little bit of help. All right, now is the time for the highlighters. Where did I put them? These highlighters are made in Japan and they contain diamond powder and gold. And you can really see the difference. At first I thought maybe it was kind of gimmicky, but Surratt isn't really known for like gimmicky products. He's really known for just beautiful, impeccable makeup. And so I was like, it can't be. He would only add an ingredient like that if it really made a difference, and it really makes a difference. So here is Diamante. So this is the lightest shade, and this is probably the one that I would use the most. But I'm going to go ahead and swatch it on my hand here. And I hope the camera is catching like the prismatic effect that this has, but it's so subtle. I want to say the shifting is to like a peach. There's a little bit of pinkiness in there. And it has like sparkly bits in there, but it's not glittery. It's really hard to describe. I guess the simplest way is to say that there's like little micro glitters in there, but glitter just really isn't the right word. It really looks like fairy dust. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some to my cheeks, and I'm going to let me apply Diamante to this side, and I'll do the Rose Diamante, which is pinker, on this side. So I'm just going to swipe some on and blend it in with my fingers. It just has the most incredible effect. And when I had posted this on my Instagram, someone actually mentioned, they're like, oh, I saw these in store. I really didn't think they were that special. What is it you like about them? And I said, I like how it kind of looks like, do you know that ribbon that you get at Christmas time or whenever? And it's like wire edge. So it's always like kind of sticking up, but the middle of it almost has this like gauze to it, and it looks sparkly in some angles and not, and then like it kind of has like a color shift to it. I feel like that's what this looks like. It has like a gauzy effect, and when you blend it out, it becomes a little bit sheer so that your skin kind of comes through. And I don't really get this a lot with stick highlighters. I will get this more with like a powder highlighter, like that Big Gelée kind of formula. I feel like those allow your real skin tone to kind of shine through. But with a lot of stick highlighters that I like the Guerlain stick highlighter that I really love, that one's like really blingy. That one is a pretty like solid kind of highlight. Even when you blend it out a little bit, not much of your actual skin tone kind of like shines through, but this really allows for your skin tone to really like come through. And because of that, I do feel like all of the colors in this range would work for a very broad range of skin tones. So you would probably want to purchase these kind of based on undertone. Like I feel like the Diamante is very neutral. The Rose Diamante, which I'll show you in a second, is very cool. And then the deepest one, Doré, the gold one, is probably for warm skin tones. I feel like that is probably how you would want to purchase these highlighting sticks. And I'm probably going to pick up the Doré, even though I thought that was going to be too deep. But now that I know the texture and the formula of this highlighting stick, I think it'll work fine. I think it'll allow enough of my actual skin tone to shine through, and it'll just give me like a nice kind of like sparkly effect. And I feel like these are so in line with the rest of Surratt's collection. I find his makeup to be, it's very chic, it's very sophisticated, but I almost feel like it's makeup that's always kind of like winking at you. Like there's always like a little something. Like it's not just like high quality, you know, beautiful makeup. Like there's always a little bit of like fun to it. And that's what I think I love about Surratt makeup so much. There's always just a little like wink there. So as you can tell, I love these highlighters. Let me go ahead and put the Rose Diamante here on this cheek, and I'll swatch it for you as well. So this is what the Rose Diamante looks like. And I'll swatch it over here. I just feel like this is cooler skin tone friendly. I don't even necessarily think that one is lighter than the other. I mean, maybe this one is a little bit lighter just because of its tone. Let me go ahead and just swipe some on. And you don't need a lot of this product either. It is very effective. Very, very effective. So there is the Rose Diamante. So I think both tones work really, really well if you have a similar skin tone to mine. Again, I just think one is like neutral and one is a little bit cooler. If you're doing more of like a cool eye look or something, I think this would be really lovely. All right, next we're gonna go in with the Surratt Diaphane Loose Powder. And this is not my favorite packaging, I have to say. So it comes in a compact that kind of looks like a cushion compact. And you lift this up and then there's netting for the powder. And I generally like when there's a mesh netting over loose powder. I think that's probably my favorite way to get loose powder because I feel it's like sifted for you already. It's not going to come pouring out. You don't have to pour it out. You just kind of like bounce your brush or your beauty blender or your tool, whatever it is, onto the net. I really like that. But for some reason, this gets so messy and then this doesn't really keep it shut. So it kind of ends up everywhere. Not my favorite, but let me go ahead and I have my Surratt face brush here. I'm just going to tap it into this powder. And this is another product of Surratt's where you don't need a lot at all. This powder is, again, just like the concealer, just like the highlighter, it's very effective. So I'm just going to tap some onto my eyes here. And I'm going to avoid where I put the highlighter. I'm just going to put it right underneath. Kind of tap this on. I find this powder starts to look very, very matte very, very quickly, which is why I like to use just the smallest amounts little by little, and then I end up just kind of brushing any excess away. And while I like a matte setting powder, I don't want it to look too matte, and this can look very, very matte. All right, next I'm going to go into Surratt's contour powder. This is part of the Artistic blush line. I think the colorway is Grisal. I'll leave everything linked down below in my description box. It's just hard for me to like pop these out. That's where the name is on the back. But anyway, I will look that up for you and put it in the description box. And I'm going to go in with the Surratt like angled cheek brush and apply that to the hollows of my cheeks and make sure that's blended in nicely. I think Troy Surratt has been known to say a bad contour is like a bad toupee. It's just so obvious. So I'm trying to be very, very good about blending it in and not putting on too much. Next, I'm going to go into this blush. And again, I'm not exactly sure of the name, but it is just a really beautiful peachy pink color. It has like a nice satin finish, and I'll list it down below in the description box. I'm going to go in with the Surratt cheek brush. This is the one that's rounded and not angled. And pick up some of that. All right, I think that is good enough for cheeks. I really love that blush color. Let's go ahead and move on to eyebrows. I've got the Surratt brow pencil and also the brow pomade. I have the brow pencil in Raven. So a lot of the Surratt products are refillable, including this brow pencil. So I actually just popped out the cartridge to see what color this was. But it goes into this really nice holder where you can twist up the pencil, and it also has a spoolie on the other end. So let's start with the eye pencil. And this has like a super fine rounded tip, very much like the ABH Brow Wiz. But I happen to like this one better because I find that when I use a light hand, I don't know, I always seem to put down the exact right amount of pigment, where I feel like with the ABH Brow Wiz, I can go overboard very quickly. But this seems to have a softer touch. I guess you could say it's probably a little bit waxier, less pigmented than the ABH. All right, and now for the brow pomade. And I think I read somewhere that he basically developed this brow pomade because his brows are unruly. And I appreciate that because my brows are incredibly unruly too. I am hoping he comes out with like a tinted brow pomade, so that may be the only brow product that I need. But the texture of this brow pomade is so great because you can really style your brows. Like if you're really into that fluffy brow, you can really kind of form them and like push them up if you want. But it's not crispy. It's not going to leave your brows really crunchy in any way, which I can't stand. It leaves them very moldable. All right, let's move on to Surratt shadows. So I moved all of my Surratt shadows into this Adept Cosmetics palette. It's hard plastic and it's double-sided, and I have a whole video on how I did that because Surratt shadows are not magnetized, so I had to get little magnets, put them on the back. But anyway, I love that they're all in one place now because I had a gazillion of these refillable palettes from Surratt, and it was getting to be too much. But here are all of my Surratt shadows, so we're gonna be playing around with these. The names are on the back of these little pans, so I'll leave all the information down below. I will list them in the order that I use them, so hopefully that is helpful. All right, so I'm going to start with a matte kind of skin tone color just to set my eyes down, and I'm using my large smoky eye brush from Surratt. We are going to do something fairly natural because I want to use his liquid eyeliner, which is my favorite liquid eyeliner, and I want to do like a little bit of a winged eye. And when I do a winged eyeliner, I don't like that much eyeshadow down. I think on me, if I do both, it just looks like too heavy. So I'm going to try and keep it light on the eyes. I'm going to take my medium smoky eye brush and go into a little bit of a deeper matte shade. And I'm just going to run this just along my lash line here and work it up a little bit, just to start some like soft coloring here. Just adding a little bit of soft color here. And if you're someone that's kind of always afraid that you're putting down too much eyeshadow or whatever, I highly, highly recommend these smoky eye brushes from Surratt. It is literally impossible to put down too much eyeshadow with these because the hairs are so long and they're so wispy. You have to like lay down product really, really lightly. It builds, of course, you know, you can keep going over it, but this just lays down such a beautiful, like, light wash of color, and it's so great, and it feels great. The bristles are so soft. The hairs are so soft. Next, I'm going to take my classic eye brush, and I think this is the medium size, and I'm going to go into a darker cool tone brown and just run that along the lash line. I mean, I know I'm going to be putting down some liquid eyeliner there, but this will help soften the appearance of it if you don't want something too harsh. I'm also going to run a little bit along my lower lash line. I'm also taking what's ever left over and kind of running it on the outer corner of my eye just to give it a little bit more depth, but not too much. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the liquid eyeliner. This is the Autographic liner. Ooh, my air conditioning went off. This is the Autographic eyeliner in black. And I'm just going to line my eyes. There, just the littlest flick. All right, the eyeliner looks terrible, totally my fault. So I'm gonna start over. I did the wing like two, anyway, they're crooked. I don't like the shape of them. So I'm going to start over and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let's try this again. Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna try this again. We're gonna do this. Is that how much eyeliner people put on when they do a wing? That's a lot. We're just gonna go with it. I don't think I'm a winged eyeliner person. Whenever I've done a wing in the past, it's always been kind of small, but I don't know. I can't get a small one to look right. Wow, they're completely different, like not even close. Okay, I'm gonna stop messing with the eyeliner because it's just getting bigger and bigger. Oh, but that's funny. Okay, we're just gonna move on. So I also wanted to use the new Surratt Inner Light Baton, I think is what it's called. I hauled this, I used this for you guys once, but I did want to give you some feedback. So I love the color of this pencil for my waterline. It is such a perfect match for my skin tone. And I know that there's a few color options here. I believe this is the one like right in the middle, but it is such a great brightener without looking too stark. And that's always been my issue. Actually, not always, that's a lie. My issue basically is the color's always off. It's either too peachy or it's too white, but this one is like right in between and it just does such a good job brightening my eye look. The downside to this is I feel like at about the 5-hour mark, it is pretty much like worn away. It's pretty much kind of gone and I have to reapply if I want to reapply to my waterline. So that is definitely the downside to this, that I don't find it very long lasting on my waterline, but I know that that is very, I mean, like makeup in general, it's very, very subjective. But this Inner Light Baton also comes with, it's like if you screw the cap off, you also get like an inner corner highlight, and it makes inner corner highlighting so easy. So easy. And if you want to like bring it in and kind of brighten up your entire eye look, much like his highlights, it's almost like this fairy dust. So there's definitely some like sparkly bits in there. And if I feel like they're a little bit too loose and I'm going to end up with like too much fallout or anything, I'll just take like a little brush. Actually, that one's dirty. I'll just take like a little brush and I'll just kind of like press it down onto the little bits there, and my brush will kind of pick up any of the excess. I just grabbed my Surratt Smoky Eye Baton in Fumé Noir, it's basically black, because I wanted to line my lower lash line, kind of give it a little bit of a stronger look. I think with the liquid eyeliner it looks a little imbalanced. And my experience with these smoky eye batons is if I just use the pencil side, this will definitely smear. It's very, very soft. And I actually contacted Surratt over Instagram, and they told me that it really is meant to be used with the powder product in here. So these smoky eye batons, just like these Inner Light batons, have a powder product built in. So I take the powder product and I just run it over the pencil and it kind of sets it all down. And then I won't have issues with it smudging. But it definitely is that like 2-step process. Oh my God, you guys, I walked away from my camera, finished filming, and I realized I didn't put any mascara on, which admittedly, on some days, I don't really care, but I think when you do a bold eye like this, it is necessary. So I have my Surratt lash curler here, and just going to quickly curl my lashes. And I do have a Surratt mascara, but it's not open yet, and I don't want to open it just yet. I just opened up a new Tom Ford mascara that I'm actually enjoying. So I'm going to be applying that one. All right, Lash Raise Mascara from Tom Ford is applied. Let's go ahead and get back to the rest of the video. All right, well, now that I ended up with an incredibly bold eye look that I was not expecting to do, I am going to change up my lip strategy. I was going to put on one of my favorite Surratt lip sleeks with the lip gloss, but I think that's a little bit too light. So I'm gonna go in with one of his La Baton Rouge. This is, again, another 2-in-1 product. So you get like a slim lipstick, and you unscrew the middle and you get a powder product. And you can use the lipstick by itself. You can add the powder on top if you want to make the lip product a little bit more matte. It'll also make it a little bit longer lasting. So these aren't new products. I just thought I would whip these out because I don't use these very often. But let's go for, actually, I think I liked that color I just pulled out. This is Margot. This is Margot. This is like a brownish red. I think I'm going to go for one of these, or maybe I'll do a combo of these two. Of course, I've forgotten what they are. So Baume and Margot. So I'm going to start with Margot. That was the darker one. That's this one with the like the purpley base. And I'm going to start by basically lining my lips and filling in all at the same time. Then I'm going to take Wong, which is this brighter red color, and fill in. Blend it with my lips, but not too much because I want to leave a little bit of that ombre effect there. Then I'm going to take like the brighter red powder, add it to the center of my lips, and then take Margot and add the powder to my outer corners here. All right, I feel like I need a little bit more of this stick highlighter, and as I'm applying it, I'll just finish out this video by saying how much I love these highlighters. They're so special. I love the little slight prismatic effect that you get. It's so subtle and so beautiful, and I like how sheer they are. And they do have like a more powdery kind of formula. So as soon as I get it onto the skin, I feel like it sets down. I don't feel like it's gonna move. I don't feel like I have to powder over it. So thanks so much for tuning in today. I think the one major takeaway from today's video is that I need to work on my winged eyeliner. There's absolutely no doubt that this looks kind of ridiculous. But let me know what you think of these new highlighters. I think they're really wonderful, and many of you keep asking me to compare to my other stick highlighters. There's definitely something special about the reflective quality in here. It has those little bits in there, and like I mentioned, it's not glittery. It really is so much finer, even finer than like micro glitter. And like the effect it has is different. It just is, it's really special, and I do like how sheer it is. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would love that, and I'll see you in my next video.